Hello, welcome to my channel. Spoilers, you guys. Duh. Alright, and now let's talk about this week's episode, episode 5. This episode opens with a white woman, who we quickly find out is Ruby. Ruby has overnight turned into a white woman and is stumbling around the streets, so confused about what is going on with her. And long story short, she gets picked up by the cops and is taken back to William. And we find that William has given her some type of metamorphosis potion to which she can turn into a white woman, but only momentarily, and then she will essentially shed the white skin and be back in her. Well, she never leaves her body. Her body is just encapsulated in this white skin that she'll shed when the potion wears off. It's pretty gross. It's actually very gross. Yeah. So this whole arc with Ruby is focused on some heavy stuff. I love that it's concentrating on a black woman receiving the ability to be white passing and actually to be white and experience life anew. We see that, like, once she's become comfortable, I don't know if comfortable is the right word, but once she is willing to engage with using this potion, the first time, while she knows she's using the potion, she steps out and you see she's a little awkward because she's used to white people essentially making her move to the side and, you know, just for the smallest thing, limit herself for them, and she's not having that experience. So she goes about and has a great day. She walks the street proudly. She goes and gets her ice cream. She sits in a park full of white people, reads the newspaper, eats her ice cream, and she's just having a great time. But while this is happening, you've got the poem for Color Girls playing in the background. I could have cried. This scene was so huge simply because of the fact that she's enjoying her life so much more as a white woman. But why? And she hasn't done anything yet. Like, she hasn't gotten a job because she's white yet. She hasn't, I don't know, gotten with someone because she's white. She has the whiteness. Her being a white woman makes her day to day, just walking down the street, 100 times easier. Like, it just says so much about that impact of being black in this country. We still face so many things in our culture, in American culture, where yes, things could be so much easier if we could put on a suit and just be white. Like, I believe I am white passing, and I believe it does afford me many privileges that my darker skinned friends don't have, and I acknowledge that. Because I do have it a little easier walking down the street than they do. Moving on. I told you, very heavy stuff in this episode. Going back now to Atticus, Montrose, and Letitia. They are at home. And Atticus essentially is like, where's that person we saved? Where's that person we saved? Where'd they go? To which Montrose is essentially like, they're not here no more. Atticus blows up. He starts beating the shit out of his dad. And his dad just takes it. Because he knows he fucked up. Not only does Atticus go into a violent rage where he's beating someone up, he's so, like, fixated on trying to find the answers because now the only source that they had is gone. Because he got rid of the pages too. He got rid of the pages and the intersex person. Both of them destroyed. The little bit of information that Atticus was finally able to get, now he is desperate. But in his desperateness, his short temper and his anger, and he's being violent, and he is scaring Letitia. Letitia has to scream for 2 other people in the hall to come and get Atticus off of his father. Then Atticus goes to Letitia's house and is like, I know you took, like, you had to have taken pictures of the pages. Give me the pictures of the pages. To which Letitia has a whole ass back because she is like, you are acting crazy and you are not about to beat me like you just beat your father. And that just is so much that, like, that you are scaring this girl who you have somewhat of a situationship with. You need to calm down. She understands how important this is to you. She has been with you she has been with you on this search to figure all this out. She is here for you, so you need to calm down and not scare the crap out of her. To which he leaves, takes a chill. I don't know if it's the next day or how much time has passed, but Letitia eventually brings the film to Atticus so that he can develop it, and then he can start to decipher it. And during the deciphering of the code, Atticus has this kind of like, I think his ancestor is trying to tell him something, and it gave me the feeling that his ancestor is trying to be like, stop. And it, like, his ancestor is on Montrose's side, which is like, stop digging into this, because she says something that he cannot hear, and I feel like he can't hear it because he's so hell-bent on figuring out the sons of Adam that he is unable. He has tunnel vision, and so because he has tunnel vision, nothing else is getting through. So his ancestor's trying to tell him something to which he can't hear, and he ends up burning in his dream. I'm sure we'll see what that actually means in the future episodes. But let's go back to Ruby and her situation. Ruby has now successfully gotten a job at the store, and not just as a regular clerk. She is the assistant manager because she's oh so qualified. Mind you, this is all happening as a white woman, because as a black woman, she was probably not even getting her application read. And we see her trying to handle working at the store, pretending to be a white woman while being a black woman, and working with a black woman. This is very interesting, because the interactions that she has with the black woman at the store kind of makes you be like, Ruby, did you forget you're black? Because Ruby gets like really antagonistic on this black girl at one point, and then at another point she is just being hard on her. She's not being like evil, but she's being hard on her because she finds out that she didn't have anywhere near the qualifications that Ruby had, but she was still able to get the job. So Ruby's mind is going through a lot, and then on top of that, she's watching her white co-workers acting like the south side of Chicago is some type of circus to go and visit and go look at the exotic people who live there, because isn't it oh so scary? Which is obviously gonna piss off Ruby and honestly any black person, because it's just like, we're people just like you. What do you mean? And the part that really like made me upset is when they do go to the south side and they go to the club. They're looking, that the blonde woman is looking over at the two black guys who are talking about all these white people at the table, and they get up and they start dancing, and it's just a good time. And for me, I was just like, it's so easy for them to enter a black space. It is so easy for white people to enter a black space, but it is so hard for black people to enter a white space. This is still true today. Y'all, you don't know how many times I have witnessed a room go silent because a person of color walks in. It's just really frustrating that it's so easy for a black space to be infiltrated by a white person compared to a white space being infiltrated by a black person. Moving on. We see the boss of the store trying to assault the black woman, and Ruby has just shed her white skin, and I think Ruby is contemplating what she really wants to do at this point, because she essentially has achieved what she wanted to achieve, which was getting a job at the store, being recognized for her qualities. Now what else do you want to do? And Christina essentially hints at, you have absolute freedom right now. You have the freedom to do anything you want, so go and do it. So after Ruby witnesses the boss trying to get touchy-feely with the black girl, she decides she's gonna enact some revenge. So the way we see this episode conclude is her essentially seducing the boss as the white woman and essentially committing sodomy with a stiletto. And as she's committing sodomy, she is shedding her white skin. And I believe she said this at the end, like, I wanted you to know that this was done to you by a black nigga bitch, because that's what he called the other black girl. To which it was like hard to watch, but at the same time was like, yes, sis, yes. So yeah, that was gross but great. I mean, but this show, we know it's going to be known for grossness. And one thing I haven't touched on is we kind of return back to the Atticus and Letitia romance that's going on. We haven't, there's always been, like, this show is real great about continuing to keep dropping tiny hints into different storylines that are occurring. So we get a moment between Letitia and Atticus where Letitia's essentially like, what is our relationship? And also, like, you scared me and I need you not to do that again. I need you to, like, get your shit together and calm down. To which Atticus is essentially like, I don't want you to be scared of me. I want to be there for you. And I may be interpreting the scene wrong, but the way it came over to me is that because he loved this girl, Gia, who I think we're going to learn about her next episode. There's something weird going on with that too. But I think whatever happened with his relationship with Gia kind of made him, I won't say afraid to love, but definitely hesitant towards being that connected with someone again. And so I think that's kind of what we see him being a little hesitant to be like, yes, you and me are a thing. But I believe that is how the scene ends, as that establishing that, like, they're a thing, and he essentially apologizes to her for scaring her and hopes that, you know, she won't be scared of him moving forward. That's my commentary. Make sure you follow me on Instagram at creative_caprice. And that is it. Bye.